Sweet. Today we're going to be building a progress bar in just HTML and CSS. So let's start. Let's jump into it. This is what we're going to be creating today. Starting out, I have a basic HTML page with a head and a body. The head has a title tag in it that says progress bar, and that just labels our window as progress bar. And then I also have a link tag that links to an external style sheet here, styles.css, where we can add some things. I like to start by stepping out my HTML and then writing the CSS. So that just gives me a way to see what I'm working on, to see the styles, and to have a place to hang those styles on. So let's start writing our HTML. If we go back to what we're looking at, I believe each of these steps in our progress bar can be a list item. So if we come back over here, we have an unordered list, so UL, with a class of progress bar. And then we have an LI, and for list item, I'm going to say step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So I'm going to give that a save, and if we refresh, you'll see it's pretty bare bones. That's what we're looking at. But now we have something that we can start styling. Let's talk through the requirements and our strategy and our approach to styling this. We've already said that we want each step to be represented in a list item, and we only want the text within that list item to appear on the current phase. Ideally, we're just going to use the text within the list item for our speech bubbles. This will be accessible and semantic for people using screen readers. The steps that have already been completed are going to be in one color. The current item is going to be a different color, and then future items are going to be a third color. So anytime that we're coding, it's nice to just take it one step at a time. Just how we've listed things out, we can use that as our checklist as we start coding. Let's start off by removing these HTML bullets and listing our steps horizontally. So within our styles, I'm going to say progress bar. We're going to use display flex, and we want these items to be centered, and we want them to be displayed horizontally. Going to remove the bullets by using list style type none, and I'm going to get rid of the default margin and padding that comes on an unordered list. So if I give that a save and refresh, you'll see, all right, we're starting to make progress. Next, let's add circles for each of these steps. So we're going to style the list item and give this a background. And we want to give it a border radius so that it appears as a circle. Make sure that it displays as a block. Let's give this a width of 10 pixels and a height of 10 pixels. Give that a save. Okay, awesome. The text here should be displayed in a speech bubble only above the current item. To make it easier to style the text and separate it from our circles, I'm going to wrap our text with a span. Grab this and wrap it in a span. Okay, good. Now if I hit refresh, you'll see nothing's changed. Now in CSS, we want to hide that text. So I'm going to say list item span display none. So within our browser, we just have our circles. Then we only want to display the text for the current item. So I'm going to say current item span display block. Perfect. Now let's get to that speech bubble. It's going to take a little bit of CSS trickery, but it's possible with just CSS. Let's start by adding a font family of sans serif, a font weight of bold. So this is just styling the text and how it's going to appear. Let's give it a background of pink, and let's give it a color of white. Let's add some padding. And let's give it a border radius of 10 pixels so it has some rounded corners. Let's make sure that the text is centered. And we want it to have a minimum width of at least 50 pixels, and the height can be whatever it needs to be. So if I give this a save and a refresh, you'll see that it's coming together. Okay, it's It's looking good, but we do need to position it. If we use a position of absolute, it's pretty easy to position it relative to the current item. But that's the key. You have to remember that positioning is always relative to the parent tag. So we want to make sure that that list item, that parent, has a position of relative, so that when it's positioned absolutely, it's relative to the list item, so that actual component, that actual step, and not the entire page. So within our speech bubble, let's go ahead and add our position absolute, top -70 pixels. Let's come up here and add a position of relative to the parent. Perfect. So when we do that, it brings that speech bubble off the top of the page. So let's go back to our markup, back to our HTML, and let's add a wrapper to our progress bar. And then let's go to the top here and style it. So within our CSS, it's always a good idea to list things out as they appear within the HTML. So I'm going to say position, relative, and then just to give it some space, I'm going to say max width 50 pixels and margin 0 auto. So this will center it on the page. And then we want it to add 100 pixels and 50 pixels. So if I give that a save and hit refresh, you'll notice it comes down on the screen and you can see the step 3 and we're replacing it. Okay, great. So now we just need to center our speech bubble over the current dot. So we can come back down and add a left 50% to our speech bubble. Now if you watch this, when I hit refresh, it just jumps over slightly. It doesn't actually center it. So it might surprise you a little bit because this is not centered over the current dot, but it is centered over the top left corner. So we actually want it to be centered the center of the speech bubble. So if you Google this, you may notice that a lot of people resolve this issue by adding a negative margin. And this works great if you know the exact width of your item that you're trying to center. In our case, we want this to be dynamic. Say step 1, it will work, or if we say go to step 100, it'll still work. And both of those steps might not have the same width. So we can solve this by saying transform translate x -50%. So if I give this a save, all this does is this moves our center point over -50%. So if I give this a refresh, you'll notice now it's centered. Okay, so now we just need to add that little tail or tag, triangle, whatever you want to call it, to our speech bubble. Well, let's talk through how it works. Let's take a box and add a border to each of the sides. I've given each side a different border color to make it easier to visualize. Now, if you give the box a width and height of 0, this is what it would look like. You start to see the triangles. In our case, the tag is going to be pointed down, so we can get rid of the bottom border. Then all we need to do is make the side borders transparent, leaving our triangle. Pretty cool. The code for this looks like width is 0 and border style is solid. When we're listing out our border, we're going to start at the top and list our way around clockwise. So top, right, bottom, left. Border width, 15 pixels, 15 pixels, 0. Since we didn't list a left, it's going to assume the same value right here as right. So it's the same thing as listing out 15 pixels here. And then we're going to list border color, and we're going to use this pink, and we're going to say transparent. So this is the same as saying top, right, and since we didn't list a bottom left, it says bottom left again, basically. So this is top and bottom, and this is sides. Oh, let's give this a save and a refresh. Awesome, so there are tags displaying. Last step, we want to style our circles, so this is past, current, and future. Let's add some additional markup to make this a little bit easier. So here within our HTML, we can say class completed and add this same class to the second list item. And give that a save. Okay, now within our CSS, let's style that. So we're going to say li completed, and we're going to use a deep purple color. Give that a save and a refresh. And those are styled correctly. We can leave this default gray as the future color. Now that just leaves the current step color. So this is pretty straightforward as well. We can say li current and background. We can use that pink color. That save and a refresh. Let's take this a step further and add what looks like an extra ring around this dot. We can create a faux double border. The first border will be white, same as the background color. You can say border 2 pixels, solid white. Give that a save. We can create a second border with box shadow. So this works with the values of a horizontal offset, vertical offset. So we want it centered, 0, 0. Then the blur, so we want it to have a hard edge like a border, so that's going to be 0. The next value is the spread, how much space we want it to take up. So we can say 2 pixels. And then the color, so we want that to be the pink. So give that a save and a refresh, and we have our ring. Awesome. Winning. Okay. All my code will be posted on GitHub. Feel free to download it, use it, modify it, whatever you need. If you want to see more web design tips and tricks, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell notification if you want to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Until then, keep coding.